Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So if you're new to prop trading, for example, most of the platforms are being used on MetaTrader 4 or 5. And if you're a new trader, it's quite a daunting prospect to get used to and familiar to this particular platform. I know when I started using it many years ago, it was really horrible to get into and use. I know a lot of people have the same problem. So in today's video, I want to take a quick tutorial of how we can set up some templates, the look and feel of the actual product, going into setting up indicators on our charts, how we do some basic technical analysis, looking at some trend lines, support and resistance, and even going into placing some orders. So depending who your broker is, you get this kind of layout when you first log into MetaTrader, be it MetaTrader 4 or MetaTrader 5. So the first thing to do is actually when you, at this point, is log in. So over this side here on the navigator bar, you have an option for accounts. If you right click there, you can log into a trade account. Just type in the details been sent through from your particular prop firm, click login, and therefore then becomes activated. So screens you have here are very standard, but they may not be the look and feel you're actually used to, or you want to change it for different colors. So what I like to do is first off, go to one of the screens. If you right click anywhere on here, and you can go to properties. This is where we can either choose a particular color scheme. So yellow on black, you've got green on black, or black on white, for example. But for me, these are again not very appealing color schemes. I like to customize mine, so at least we've got the bars as in red and green bars and a slightly different background, so it's not so harsh on the eyes. So again, right click properties, or you can just hit the F8 key. And from here we can change the drop down and choose all different colors we might like. So the main ones here, if we've got any bar up or bull candles, they're going to be greens, and any bear candles are likely to be reds. So again, for me that's a much better interpretation of the colors I prefer to see on the screen. And again, if you go to the top, you've got a plus and a minus zoom, so you can zoom in a little bit. And if you want to shift the graph across a little bit so you can actually project into the future, there's a little bar here which is called shift end. And that gives you a bit more space on the actual chart for projecting forward where the price might actually go. Now from here, you want to save that as a template. So again, you can right click on the screen, go to templates, save template, and call it anything you like. And then when we go to any other particular currency pair we've got, we can change that template by the one we've just created, and we can make sure all of the screens look identical all the way through. Now often by default we don't get many actual instruments to trade. In the market watch in the top left corner we can only see a few particular currency pairs. So again, if we just right click and go symbols or Control U, what we're then able to do is scan through particular markets we want to trade and add them to, it's almost like a watch list. So for me, I like to have gold. And if you look at some of the Forex pairs, it could be any ones you're interested in particular. Let's go Aussie New Zealand dollar. The British pound Japanese yen. What else might we like? Pound USD. And USD JPY. So what we now have is our small watch list of currency pairs or metals or indices, depending on what's able to trade, and we can drag those onto any of the charts and they will then change it. So just drag it onto any of the charts we've got open. Change our template. And hey presto, looking perfect. Now obviously you want to navigate through, see different time frames. On the toolbar here we have all the times: 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hours, daily, weekly or monthly. And just by clicking on any one of those time frames, that will reset the chart to display that particular candle. Now one of the big things with traders, we like to have indicators on our charts. So in the navigator bar we have a expandable tree menu called indicators. Expand it out and we can go through and see all of the built-in indicators within MetaTrader. From here, all we have to do is drag it onto the chart and that indicator is then applied. So if I want the relative strength index, for example, I just drag it from the oscillators onto the chart. I can go through any customizations of that particular indicator I want to, so I can change the periods or how the lines apply. But I don't want to do it on here, just click OK. And therefore on the actual chart, we now have the indicator. Now this chart does have a moving average on it already. We've got by the red line. Just hovering the mouse over it tells exactly what it is. And again, if we can right click, we can go to the moving average properties. And from here we can change that if we want to change a different color. So let's say we want to have a blue one for a period of 20 and a slightly thicker line. Hit OK, and it then draws onto the chart. Now the one thing to remember here is that you still need to update the template. So this is now how I want my chart to look. Right click, templates, save template. Just override the one you've already created. It's a bit of a shame it doesn't auto update every single chart, but again, just by applying that template, right click, templates, we then have those indicators set to that particular chart as well. Again, we can see navigating through the list of indicators, there are absolutely hundreds of them available, and we can just very simply just drag them straight onto the chart itself and it gets applied. To remove it, very simple, just right click and say delete indicator window, and it removes it. So now we have the charts and the indicators. Let's draw some lines on it. Now actually in the toolbar here, we have most of the lines we can draw: vertical, horizontal or trend lines. That's pretty much most of the things I would ever use to draw on a chart. We've also got equidistant channels as well as Fibonacci. Again, we can also write text on the screen as well. So a lot of people like to have supply and demand zones by drawing nice rectangular boxes where they believe that's where an area where there's going to be a lot of orders being placed. So to get that into the actual toolbar itself, if you right click and go customize, we can now see by customizing the toolbar, we can actually scan down and find the rectangle tool, hit insert, then hit close. And we can see now on our toolbar we have a rectangular shape, which we then go and draw on our charts what we might want to show as a sort of a level of support on the chart. So we want to customize this so it's different color. So let's say it's a yellow, for example. If we right click and go to rectangle properties, we can change the fill color to something that's a bit more noticeable. So a yellow color, for example. So therefore, anytime we now start drawing some rectangles on the chart, they're always going to be that default yellow color. Now to delete any drawings on the chart, again, if we right click and go to objects list, it lists the objects we've actually got on the chart itself. So again, we can hit delete and it will take it off the chart. The rest of the drawing tools are quite straightforward. So horizontal lines, if we wanted to use that for a level of resistance, so we can put that there. Same thing, we can right click on the line, we can go to horizontal line properties, we can make it a different color and slightly thicker. It's very easy just to drag it and move it anywhere on the chart we want to. Again, by looking at that, if we zoom out from a 4-hour to a daily, we can still see that line is drawn on the charts horizontally across, going back to where all the charts begin. The trend line is actually quite a nice little drawing tool because it actually draws just a small line wherever you want it. Again, by default, I don't like the particular colors, so I always tend to go and change the properties just to make sure it's a little bit nicer and I can then have a consistency across the board. One final tool that is really useful is the crosshair at the top here. So again, by selecting the crosshair, we can actually use it to measure. So by holding the mouse button down and just drawing up, it allows us to measure. So for example, that is showing me 10 bars worth of activity in 224 pips. So it's a really useful tool just for measuring how much a move has been or projecting where you want to start drawing in some of your trend lines. Now right down at the bottom of the screen we have the terminal window, and that basically gives us a lot of our account history. So if we click on here we can see what running trades we've got and the account histories for any trades we've actually placed, whether winners or losers. It's always good just to check back in and see how the trades are going, whether you've got running trades or closed trades. You can see all the details about them, where you got into the trade, and obviously then convert that into your trade journal. So if we wanted to place a trade, let's say we want to place a buy order. So if price broke above this level of resistance here at 1.032, for example, all I need to do is click on new order. Now from here we choose a lot size, which obviously always stays the same as the previous trade. So always check the lot size. It could be that you've done different trades. Please make sure you look at the sort of trade sizing and risk management on some other videos. Now what I'm going to do is do a pending order, and it's going to be a buy stop. So effectively the price goes above that, it's going to buy. So price of 1.0325 with a stop loss, which I'm going to do just below this level at 1.03. Take profit, you don't have to put it in there, but again, it's always nice to put it as a reference. Let's go 1.04. As we can see on the chart, we've got some dotted lines, therefore that actually shows where the orders are placed. So we wanted to move those around. So let's say the price moves a little bit, and therefore you thought, okay, if it broke from a slightly lower level, you can just drag that price down to exactly on the chart where you want it to break through. And the same thing with stop loss. You can drag that up so it's a lot tighter. Just an example. Now that order will show up on the terminal under trade. So we can see here that we've got a buy stop placed with the particular lot size. And because we're in 10 pips of the price being triggered, that's gone green. If I don't think it's going to work anymore, all I'll do is hit the little cross, and that will then delete that trade, and therefore it's taken off the charts. If I want to trade at market, all I need to do is literally hit new order, and that's going to be a market execution, and just hit buy. Trade goes straight in. We can see we've got a loss straight off because of the spread, but more worryingly we have no stop loss at the moment. So what we're going to do here, if we just double click in the terminal window on stop loss, that brings up the modifier order. And then we can just literally type in our stop loss where we believe it should be. And we'll see with the red dotted line, according to our stop loss, is now in place. Similarly, we can modify the take profit at this point. We can just, again, double click, change our take profit if we want to get in on that one. That's now applied to the trade. Now if we felt this trade wasn't going away, we want to get rid of it, all you have to do is literally click on a little cross on the corner, and that'll close the trade out straight away. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Please comment down below if you want to see any more specifics on MetaTrader, any more advanced features or how-to guides, and I'll look to do them in the future. Cheers everyone.